December 26th, 1996, the day after Christmas. The Ramsey family seemed to have everything. John Ramsey was a successful businessman. His wife, Patsy Ramsey, was a former beauty queen. Their 6-year-old daughter, JonBenét, had become well known through children's beauty pageants and was often described as bright and outgoing. From the outside, they looked like the perfect American family. But that image would be shattered in a single morning. Patsy Ramsey woke up and walked downstairs inside their large home in Boulder, Colorado. As she approached the kitchen area, she noticed something unusual lying on the staircase. It was a handwritten note, not a short message. It was a 3-page ransom letter demanding $118,000. Near the end, the writer warned that any attempt to ignore the instructions could put their daughter in danger. Panic spread immediately. Police arrived quickly and searched the house, looking for signs that someone had broken in. But they found no obvious evidence of forced entry, no broken windows, no damaged doors, and no sign of JonBenét. One detail stood out immediately. The note had been left in a place where it was impossible to miss, as if the writer wanted it discovered right away. As the hours passed, confusion only grew. The family waited for a phone call. Investigators expected further contact, but no call ever came. No new demands, no instructions, nothing. Meanwhile, a critical mistake had already been made. Although parts of the house were searched, the basement was not thoroughly examined during those crucial early hours. Nearly 9 hours passed, 9 hours of fear, uncertainty, and desperate waiting. Then John Ramsey and a family friend decided to search the house again themselves. They headed downstairs. What they discovered changed the entire case. Inside a small storage room in the basement, they found JonBenét. She had never left the house. The scene immediately raised more questions than answers. What first appeared to be a kidnapping now looked very different. This was not a typical ransom case. Something far more disturbing had happened. Overcome with shock and grief, John Ramsey picked up his daughter and removed the tape from her face. It was the reaction of a devastated father. But investigators would later argue that this moment may have unintentionally damaged important evidence. And from that point forward, the investigation took a dramatic turn. Instead of focusing entirely on finding an unknown intruder, attention increasingly shifted toward the family itself. Suspicion began to grow. The parents came under scrutiny. Even JonBenét's older brother became part of public speculation. Television networks covered the story constantly. Newspapers printed theories almost daily. Before long, millions of people had formed opinions about the family. Some believed they were victims. Others believed they were hiding something. But despite years of investigation, no direct evidence ever proved that any member of the family was responsible. Time passed. Months became years. The case remained one of the most talked about mysteries in America. Then about 12 years later, an important scientific development changed the conversation. In 2008, advances in DNA testing allowed investigators to re-examine evidence collected from JonBenét's clothing. The results revealed genetic material from an unidentified male. The profile did not match her father, it did not match her mother, and it did not match her brother. For many people, this was a turning point. The Ramsey family was formally cleared. Yet the most important question still had no answer. If it wasn't the family, then who was responsible? The years continued to pass. The case slowly faded from the headlines, but it never truly disappeared. Then, in 2024, a new documentary brought renewed attention to the mystery. Soon afterwards, something unexpected happened. John Ramsey reportedly received a letter from a woman claiming she had remained silent for years but could no longer keep certain information to herself. She urged him to contact her and included a phone number. But when attempts were made to call that number, nobody answered. Who was she? Did she actually know something important? Or was it just another false lead in a case that had already generated countless rumors and claims? No one knew. Even today, investigators continue to debate details that have puzzled people since the beginning. The unusually long ransom note. The fact that it appeared to have been written using materials from inside the house. The lack of clear signs of forced entry. And perhaps most unsettling of all, the possibility that JonBenét may have known the person who was with her that night. These details have fueled countless theories. One of the most discussed suggests that the person responsible may have been inside the home before the family returned that evening. If that's true, another question immediately follows. How did that person leave? And why was JonBenét never taken from the house? Nearly 3 decades later, there is still no universally accepted answer. The case remains one of the most famous unsolved mysteries in American history, not only because of the tragedy itself, but because of the mistakes, missed opportunities, conflicting theories, and unanswered questions that followed. And after all these years, one question continues to haunt everyone who hears this story. How can a child disappear inside her own home and the person responsible never be found?